Hello, welcome back to another copyright obligated video where I talk for way too long so I don't get my channel struck down. Um, so today I'm using cinematic mode on my iPhone because it saves a bit of data and a bit of bandwidth when I upload because the internet is down thanks to Amazon. So that's why this video is gonna look a bit worse than my typical pro raw. No pro, yeah, the 4K from a SSD. Anyways, another AI rant. Um, so as you, as I said in my previous videos on this, I'm looking for a car for both me and my sister. My sister just needs a cheap commuter car, like a Golf or whatever. But I was looking, went to Audi and I went to Mercedes. Because you can get used Audis and Mercedes in America pretty cheaply. And before everyone says, oh, but maintenance, yes, I'm aware, you get when the CPO, then you take it to the dealership and whatever, it's covered. But I sat in a brand new Audi, it's like $90,000. It's a Q5. It was like the exclusive trim, so it was like designed to show off everything that Audi could do design-wise for interiors. If you spent like unlimited money and you called and customized it. I was like, cool, I'll check this out. Not only was the car incredibly chintzy feeling, which we're not going to really focus on because it's not really important for this, but the entire cab was just AI. It was Alexa. So you say, hey Alexa, and it can control stuff like that, or you could use ChatGPT, which, I'm sorry, I once again don't trust AI models, let alone large language models, with anything that's of dire importance. Now, they are pretty good, still, they're pretty good, especially the frontier models, like ChatGPT 5, um, Claude, the Claude series of models, and even some of the smaller ones, like the one from Proton, is pretty good. But AI should not replace good work. So why I'm irritated is because the Germans used to be known for their engineering and their engineering prowess in developing technologies that would make a car more reliable, more durable, or more comfortable, or a combination of them. Sometimes they would just go all out and make V10 sports sedans with massaging seats. Cool. That's cool and all. But here's the issue now. No one, everybody wants that, but the governments don't want that. So we have the issue of China wants technology. Legacy auto manufacturers can't keep up with technology that China has. So, like, you can go to China and get a van. They love vans over in China, apparently. So you can get, like, a Lexus or Buick, a very nice van. Or you can get, like, a nice extended wheelbase, everything. And they all have screens. All the SUVs have, like, giant screens. All the EVs, giant screens. And China is a very technology-focused society. which is not any of these companies' strong suits. Another thing that annoys me no end is we're shoving AI into everything, and I think Apple did it right. And yes, I realize I am a bit of an Apple sheep. I like Apple. They make nice stuff. Everything kind of just works. In America, the shortcomings, yes. But here's the thing. The assistant for Apple, I can't say her name because they got a bunch of stuff with SIRI, still is terrible. But there's people who never use it, and I never use it, except to set calendar notifications. And it works fine for that. I don't want Google, Apple, I don't care who it is, to create these giant complex earth-destroying AI that's just like there to set my calendar appointments and just be a better version of what we have now. I don't want to talk to my speakers for hours on end. Google actually developed an entire pipeline so you can talk to Google Assistant like way back when Google Assistant came out on smart speakers for like half an hour. That's what they estimated the average user would use consume in data every day. It was like half an hour of just using Google Assistant. And I have yet to walk into a household or talk to anyone who uses it for more than asking for the weather, asking for predictions or stock markets, or just like playing music. And like the HomePod's already pretty overpowered comparably. The Apple TV is pretty good, but like on TV it could use some help. But like I'm not talking to my HomePods for hours on end. I'm not asking to write essays. I'm not asking Gemini on my smart speakers. I also have Gemini in powered smart speakers. I'm not using it to write conversations. It's Gemini already in itself is kind of hit or miss. Half the time it just Googles everything. The other day, I was looking up quotes from books, and I was like, I wonder if Gemini can do this. Gemini just straight Googled it. It didn't even reason. It just rephrased my question and just Googled it. And it's like this multi-billion-dollar investment into infrastructure, training, data. And Google has spent 25 plus years, or, yeah, let's see. Hey Siri, how old is Google?
You'll need to unlock your iPad first. You don't have Google's birth year listed in.
Yeah, so Google has to be at least 25 years old. They're 27 years old, so they spent 27 years, 20 to 27 to 25 years, harvesting all the internet's data. And they still can't beat companies that are 5, 6, 7 years old. And that's baffling to me because they push it into every Android phone, every Pixel, which is just getting annoying. It's just, at this point, Android is just adware in disguise. You can fight me on that, and you probably will if anyone actually watches the video. But Android is literally just becoming, Gemini with different flavor, AI with different flavor. iOS is just kind of becoming hardware focused in a weird way. The iPhone 17 is selling pretty well because they focused more on hardware than they did on AI, which is good because Apple Intelligence sucked and still sucks in its a horrific experience. But it can still do things that Gemini still can't do, even on the Reasoning Pro, wherever. And I'm baffled because I can tell Gemini to add something to my calendar and it just won't. Unless I enable 18 plugins. And I don't want to enable plugins because I don't trust Google. But I also don't trust any of these companies. And then we have Perplexity out here trying to steal everyone's data. So not only has the price of data gone up, not everything is data. Everything from your mom's Instagram, which is feeding the awful Meta AI, which is now for some reason baked into everything. Also, why is Instagram search now just Instagram and Meta AI? So now you can't find anything unless it's like specifically dictated. I'm just using Instagram search to find people. I'm honestly not using it for image generation or recipes because who goes on Instagram to create a recipe? No one. Instagram has become too commercial. Facebook is dead. And these companies are being beat by China because China is doing sketchy stuff, but they also have more people, more data from those people, and they also have government control. Like the government's like tossing money at them. And we're doing that, but we're not doing it with as much freedom. Like we didn't tell the companies, go ham on all the data you can get. Everyone's getting sued, and I think that Gen AI is good as a tool, like converting a bunch of, like for example, I used Claude to convert a bunch of like loose data into spreadsheets for business use, and it works great. It creates charts, it creates plans, and I go back and check them. But yeah, great. It's saving time. Images it can generate. I can toss into ChatGPT and add like a graphic, and I occasionally will use it. But video, I'm still unsure of what we're supposed to do with video. Like, what exactly are we supposed to use video for? First of all, it kind of looks terrible now, no matter what. Sora is royally terrible. Sora is the worst AI app I've ever used. It's deeply unpleasant. It's trying to be a TikTok clone. But it's all just deeply racist and deeply unfunny memes that are just AI generated. And it's like this weird, uncanny valley of like, it's visually for like a second, like, ooh, I can be tricked to that. And then some motion happens or like something that would be natural to us. The model is just like, what is that? motion, and then just it looks weird. And then they trained this for ever and ever, and it looks better than comparable in prior generations. But why do I need more brain rot TikTok clones when when most of YouTube is now just AI channels being like either hyping AI as the savior of everything, people saying it's terrible, or AI channels reading off Reddit. Top 10 things that happened on Reddit. And it's like, okay, why? Why? Why would you make this into an app? Now, the UI is great, but it's costing them, someone said, like $1 a video. So you're saying $1 a video, burning countless amounts of energy, who knows how much, just so you can make kind of racist, terrible memes. None of the videos look spectacular. You can't insert them into any production. So what are we supposed to do? Is it a giant experiment? Is it a learning thing? What are we doing here? Because, like, image generation is cool because it's cool to a certain point because you can brainstorm like rough ideas of like what something should look like, especially if you overlay it with like a real place. Like I recently was looking to remodel my room, so I took a photo and tossed it into GenAI and like, hey, can you adjust something, the lighting and add a lamp there? And it was like able to do it and look pretty cool. But I'm not gonna use it outside to generate images because they all look artificial in that weird, uncanny way. And then, not to get political, but Trump is posting AI slop, and it's just like, so now that we got politicians posting AI slop, whether or not you agree with him or not in politics, we should all universally agree that AI slop is generally bad. Our literacy rates have gone down. Our vocabulary has already been changed, and everything else is starting to change and be simplified because AI is taking over at such a fast pace that humans are adapting to ChatGPT talk. And then you see people marrying it, and it's just like, why? And I know ChatGPT, and I know OpenAI, and I know Grok, and all these people know that this is happening, and are just sweeping under the rug. It's just sad and kind of depressing because there's nothing we can do about it. These companies have a vested interest to push this because innovation stalls. Our phones are already insanely fast. Like the new iPhone 17, someone figured out that it's roughly as powerful as a PlayStation 4. And then which isn't even the fastest phone chip on sale. Soon the overclocked Samsungs will be even faster. So now you can open up Instagram, Twitter, or X.com faster. You can take better photos. You can zoom it. I hate the Pixel so much. First of all, the Pixel is just an AI phone. It's just an AI phone. It's a terrible phone. It's a terrible device. It's got not one generation has not had problems. The current one is doing better, I'll give it that. And it still takes decent very good software photos. The Chinese do very excellent hardware photos. And what I mean by that is they use like Hasselblad, Leica, and Zeiss tuning lenses and architecture to like define the photo. Google and the Americans did the software thing, so we have smaller sensors, smaller megapixels, and in the American market, so we have Samsung and we have Apple and we have one. We can get OnePlus depending on what carrier you go to, but that's about it. So Samsung, Google, OnePlus, and Apple. Apple being the biggest. So we all do hardware accelerated photography. The Chinese do that. Get me clear. They do that very heavily too, especially with like beauty filters and everything. But they focus much more on optical quality over machine learning. They still have a lot of machine learning, but if you look at them, they look much closer to a real camera with a real lens than a real camera that just has a cheap lens on it, if that makes sense. And then Google had to go out there and be like, we have 100 times zoom, but only if you enable ProRes zoom, which is the Apple codec for insane quality 4K video. It has been for a long time. I think it's also been right around 25, 30 years, somewhere in that range. Don't quote me on the exact number, but something like that. And like, you can use AI to make your photos zoomed in like better. It's like, okay, but is that hallucinating pixels or is it using surrounding data? And it's just hallucinating pixels. It's just using micro banana. Granted, it's on device finally. Every other thing that Google Pixels do is just send it out to the cloud and hope and pray that Google and their gods can fix it. But you're paying $1,000+ for slower storage, slower speeds. Your phone just depreciates itself, and the only trick it has is AI that comes to Samsung, every other Android in about a year. Samsung is terrible now. They're not bad phones. They just copied Apple on everything now. And every time they jump ahead, like with the Slim phones, they don't market it, or they market it so aggressively that people don't care and tune it out. But then they do shady things like create ads for everything or on everything. So now that your $1,800 fridge has ads. I just want to go back to hardware stuff. I want sensors to get bigger. I want processing to get better and more natural. I want the Chinese to low-key kind of build an image pipeline for like the iPhone, for Samsung. I hate the Pixel because it's once again underpowered, underdeveloped, and the sketchiest phone ever. Because one day it can be perfectly fine, and 5 minutes later you can boot up a game and you could just crash your entire phone. Yes, iPhones have bugs, and iOS 26 is very buggy. But A, they try something, and B, they'll get it fixed. And C, It runs! No one's iPhone yet has glitched out unless it did the kernel crash, which was a safety feature, but whatever. They just don't randomly crash unless you cause it to crash. Like that, like a Pixel. iPhones on iOS 26 crash more than on iOS 18. Well, I mean, like hard crash where the screen turns purple. Pixel screens have been turning purple. It's been 10 years and they still haven't figured this out. Apple took 2 years to go from Intel to ARM. We're still waiting for the ARM transition on Windows. Yes, it technically happened, but we're still waiting on that. But we must chase AI. AI. There's AI friends, there's AI voice transcription, which is actually clutch. But it's just kind of useless unless you have a specific use case. Otherwise, you're just talking for hours and burning through diesel like it's nothing.